Area secured. Objective
Gee
achieved.
whiz, boy howdy. You know, life, yeah, is hello. We'll get the introductions done. We'll give some sort of illusion of formality. Hello, how's it going? Hope you're having a good day. or maybe a good afternoon, or a good morning, or a good night. I don't know. I don't know what time it is, or what the time happens to be whenever you are watching this, but hello, and I hope it's good. Because things ain't looking so good in the world today. You know? I think, just moving my mic, because it's very professional, as you can tell. But things in the world are a little not quite standard issue, you know? It is quite normal in the way, but the world is never normal. So, take from that whatever you will. Pretty fucking retarded statement.
Alive and well in Israel. Can't hear you.
Oh,
Sock Ninja.
can't hear me.
Much better.
Okay, good. I hope this fixed the audio. Cause yes, I was just I had the fucking microphone pretty much hanging off the edge. But America is nearly at its next milestone. 2 million. 2 million infectees. Well, I guess it's pretty much in question to see whether the whole seasonal theory is true. See if the summer knocks off the what's the term? The infectivity and severity. Kills the fucking virus. That's what I'm getting at. It kills fucking Corona champ. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know why that was so difficult for me. But you got some competition anyway, America, because Brazil is coming up right behind you, bud. They're on their way to the 1 million mark. And is it going to bring up the fucking charts for them? No, I think this is total. Yeah, that's total. Is it? No. No, it isn't. That's it. Yes, that's it. I'm retarded. But as you can see, it's pretty much going straight up, buddy. I think the US is slightly going down. Yeah. Very faintly you can see here, guys, are slowly flattening the curve. So you're making progress. Who knows what the fuck's happening in Russia, man? Who fucking knows how fucking... Like, oh, man. People thought that China's stats were faked, and I'm sure they were. But, I mean, dude, only 5,000 deaths? What's Brazil at, man? Look at that, 35,000. Fucking the US, they've gone over 100,000, man. Even the United Kingdom, 40,000. And then Russia's just like, oh, yeah, we totally only have 5,000 deaths. Fucking Russians, man. Oh well. Fucking 5,000 deaths. Nothing suspicious there. India. Well, we're getting a lot of concerns about India becoming a new hotspot. As you can see, their infection rates kind of just going straight up. I think the UK's flattening. God knows what the fuck's going on in Russia. Spain's, pretty much flattened it. Italy, pretty much flattened it. Peru, why the fuck do I care about Peru? They aren't rich. We'll go to France. They flattened it. Germany, of course they flattened it. And I think Iran is probably the only other interesting one. They're going back up, kind of. Yeah, they're going back up. Well, I think that's all the interesting places in the world. There's China. Huh? There's yeah, they pretty much flattened it. So, that's all going on. I figured I'd just remind everybody that there is in fact a gigantic fucking plague ripping through the entire world at the moment, because everyone is more interested in the big Black Lives Matter movement that's going on. That's the big political... Actually, it's more than political. It's just a big thing going on, stretching over multiple countries. You got it going on in Australia for the rights of Indigenous people, going on in the UK for African immigrants and nationals or whatever. And, of course, it's going on and started and is most intense in the United States. They are having quite the party. I cannot wait to see the damage bill on that one. Oh. Oh. So I figured we got Fox News in one tab, and then we got CNN in the other tab. I think for a little while, we just sort of bounce between the two. See what funny shit goes on. Yeah, but Tucker Carlson, man. Yeah, buddy.
Good evening and welcome to Every cult has the same goal. Submission of its members. Cult members surrender everything. They give up their physical freedom, where they can go, who they can see, how they can dress. But more than that, they give up
nice and cinematic for everybody.
Minds. Cult leaders determine what their followers are allowed to believe, even their most private thoughts. In order to do this, cults separate.
Okay. Before we get further into this, I just want to point out a really fun thing. Now, I'm not accusing Tucker of anything. Quite frankly, if I was to accuse someone, it would be the people above him. But one of the big things into brainwashing a person is to convince them they already are brainwashed, and that if they listen to you, they can't be brainwashed. That's how brainwashing, or pretty much the first step to brainwashing, works. Because in order for someone to come to your way of brainwashing, or to be open to being brainwashed, is you need to convince them they already are brainwashed. Because when people, if they believe they already are brainwashed, then obviously they want help not being brainwashed. And they pretty much open themselves up to another person brainwashing them. And then they brainwash them into thinking they can't be brainwashed. So that way, once they've been brainwashed, it doesn't matter how many times you try to explain to them they have been brainwashed. They will never believe they have been brainwashed, because they have been brainwashed into believing they can't be brainwashed. Huh? I hope that made as much sense. I hope that made as much sense out loud
Cat
as
fuckers.
I thought so in my head.
Their cancerous ideology spreads like wildfire.
They all do, my
All
friend.
they've known before
They all do.
Force their members to renounce their former lives, their countries, their customs. They allow no loyalty except to the cult. The first thing they attack always is the family. Families are the main impediment to brainwashing and extremism. That's true in every culture. So if you're going to control individuals, if you're going to transform free people into compliant robots, the first thing you must do is separate them from the ones who love them most. In 1932, Soviet authorities began promoting the story of a 13-year-old peasant boy called Pavlik Morozov. Morozov
What the
had
fuck
taken
is
the
going
supremely
on?
virtuous step
What
of
the
denouncing
fuck
his
is this
own
going on
father
about,
to
man?
the secret police for committing counter-revolutionary acts.
What does this have to
Once
do with
exposed as a
anything?
traitor, the boy's father
It'll all
was
come together.
executed by
It'll all
fire
come together in the
for
end.
safety of the state. Joseph Stalin
Alive and well
elevated
in
this boy
Israel.
to the status of national
Chili,
hero.
turn the volume up.
People
Oh,
wept
my
in
bad.
the streets when they heard his name. They worshipped him.
Where's my
as a saint.
fucking...
Why are we telling you this?
There we go.
Because it's happening here.
That's
In the last
how's
10
that?
days, some of our most prominent citizens have
Maybe a little
sworn
quieter.
allegiance to a cult. Converts go by the term allies, and like all cult members, they demand total conformity. They ritually condemn their own nation, its history, its institutions, its symbols, its flag. They denounce their own
fuckers.
parents.
Perfect.
If you've been on social media recently, you've likely seen many videos like this one.
You stupid dinosaur! Get the out of here! I'm sorry, you guys.
That is
What
a
the
child
fuck was
attacking
that?
her mother and father for the crime of insufficient loyalty to Black Lives.
What? Hang on. Hang on. My brain hurts. Me arguing with my father. Okay.
Attacking her mother and father for the crime of insufficient loyalty
Well,
to
no,
Black
it's a
Lives Matter.
story of her
Reporter
doing it.
Hannah Lustig of Insider.com
entirely
wrote
true.
about that video, and she strongly approved of it. What you just saw, Lustig wrote, is a young person, quote, modeling the most important tenet of allyship. Modeling, meaning something done to encourage others to do the same. It's effective, and in this case, it's working. Here's a 15-year-old from Louisiana called Isabella. There are many like her in America right now.
I literally hate my family so much.
What the fuck?
They just try to argue with me that George Floyd they're just trying to tell me that, like, he deserved that because he did something wrong, and that it was okay. That is not okay. And it's just making me so upset. I don't know why. I do not want to live here. I hate living.
See, this is what I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Like, I'll be honest, I don't agree that George Floyd's death was right by any means. I've got the video, we can go watch it later. Oh, can I watch it on YouTube? Yeah, fuck it, I'll do it anyway. But you can see that they at best, it's extremely gross negligence and disregard for human life. And it's, a pretty low bar in the best of circumstances. But what I don't understand is this person, do you have any relation to the Floyd family? I can understand you wanting to help advocate for the cause and blah, 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 blah. But why are you getting so fucking emotional about it? You don't know any of these people. I doubt you will ever meet any of these people, So why are you pouring your heart and soul into something you so clearly have nothing to do with? I don't get it, man. I mean, fuck. I get angry when I'm fucking Games Workshop being a bunch of fucking retards. But I have poured my heart and soul into that shit. I got a fucking army downstairs that I fucking painted. I fucking paid for. I played that game for fucking
Cat
years.
fuckers.
What is
She
this
has
woman?
white guilt because she's been brainwashed by the anti-white media.
Yeah.
Poor girl. Also, George Floyd aimed a gun at a pregnant woman's chest. He should have been killed right then and there.
That doesn't matter.
Groom shield.
It doesn't
She
matter.
a woman that why?
It's not about whether he was a good or a bad person. What matters is it was not legal. What they did was, like I said, at best, gross negligence. And I mean, what's the charge at now? It's like second-degree murder or some shit? So, at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. It's all a fucking ongoing process. I don't agree. The riots are, they're sort of justified, and I know there's a lot of history and all these other fucking factors involved into making it going on. But, they should have at least given the legal system some time to try and sort itself out. Because, I mean, the riot started 2 days after Almighty got shot? So, even if the police did end up doing the right thing, they wouldn't have had any time to actually do it.
In Louisiana, I hate
let's
living
watch this chick
there.
cry
These
again.
racist
Hippie crusher.
leave.
Is this a summer?
I hate my family
this
so
a what?
much. Just a week ago, it would have been hard to imagine that.
ASMR.
Now Isabella is a social media star. Celebrities
Unfortunately
tweet
not.
their approval at her. She may have her own cult following before long. But the revolution is young. Children attacking their parents is just the beginning. On CNN today, a man called Tim Wise told viewers that going forward, parents must hurt their own children.
I think the important thing for white parents to keep in the front of our mind is that if black children in this country are not allowed innocence and childhood without fear of being killed by police or marginalized in some other way, then our children don't deserve innocence. If Tamir Rice can be shot dead in a public park playing with a toy gun, something white children do all over this country every day without the same fear of being shot, if Tamir Rice can be killed, then white children need to be told at least at the same age. If they can't be innocent, we don't get to be
I
innocent.
remember that story about that kid
Your
that gets
children
shot.
are no longer allowed to be innocent, says Tim Wise. Happy childhoods are a sign of racism. The man
I don't get it, okay? I don't get the whole race relations in America.
Saying this and being
I'm just gonna try and
affirmed by
skip it as
CNN's
much as I
anchors
can.
as he does is a
This is why I
self-described
just want to talk about
anti-racism
what's legal and
activist
what's
who's been
illegal.
saying things
What's
like
Hippie
this for a long
crusher.
in
time.
terms of law.
More
Fuck,
than once,
really?
Tim Wise has suggested that he approves of violence against those who disagree.
Why,
How does Tim Wise
I
make a
don't
living?
get you fucking
in
Americans,
part
man.
by lecturing
This shit is
students.
fucking insane,
Your
bro.
kids may have seen him speak. You've almost certainly heard a lot of people like Tim Wise. In America's schools, the revolution has been in progress for quite some time. Rochester School District in New York has created a Black Lives Matter themed lesson plan. The teaching materials dismiss America's bedrock institutions, indeed America itself, as inherently racist. Suggested questions for students include, how does mass incarceration function as a mechanism of racialized social control?
That's actually an economic thing because you got privatized prisons. I mean, how does a prison make its money? It makes money by having prisoners. In order to have prisoners, you need to have convictions. And in order to have convictions, you need criminals. So ultimately, that's what a jail wants, to have as many criminals as possible. Because the more criminals there are, the more prisoners it's going to get. And I think that's really, if not the problem, a big fucking contributing factor to the problem. And I think that if you want me to fucking get it race into this, I think that's why they picked black people or Mexicans, shit like that, because they already have pre-existing, like, not the best reputations in society pre-existing that, and they just make a good scapegoat. But I really think it's more, I don't know, but for me personally, I just like to think it is more to do with money than race, because I just find that these big companies and these big profitable industries, when you get to that level, they just don't really give a shit who they fuck over. They just want to fuck people over. That sort of shit.
One specific racial group is singled out for exclusive blame. The curriculum promotes a book entitled White Rage, the Unspoken Truth of Our Racial Divide. In other words, children, there's a reason hatred and inequality exist. These people did it. That's what your kids are learning right now.
I'm gonna watch that again. Do it again.
In other words,
Cast
children,
your spell.
there's a reason hatred and inequality exist. These people did it. That's what your kids are learning right now. That's not an overstatement. Yesterday at Darien High School in Connecticut, Principal Ellen Dunn sent an email to parents in which she promised to increase the, quote, race-conscious education of our students. In order to achieve that, Dunn distributed materials from the Southern Poverty Law Center. Now, ironically, the Southern Poverty Law Center is itself a hate group that has been documented
Hippie crusher.
extensively. But now their
Very
agenda
true. America has
is the
for-profit
school's
prisons.
agenda. It's what your kids are learning.
Yeah, there's a
In
lot
Washington,
of shit like
D.C.,
that.
an
Like,
elementary
another
school
one is
principal in the affluent northwest section of the city recently wrote a letter
fucking,
announcing
what is
that,
it?
quote,
The hospital system. So, okay. Fucking hell. And no, don't socialize the healthcare system or we're all gonna start fucking, someone's gonna go Tiananmen Square on somebody. But anywho, the problem with privatized hospitals is pretty much the same problem as privatized prisons. How does a hospital make its money? By healing sick people. So, a hospital will make more money the more sick people there are. So,
Alive and
it's
well
fucked
in
up,
Israel.
man.
Oy vey.
Like, that's... I don't think socialism is the answer to everything. Obviously not. I, like, pick your country you want to point at for why that's a fucking terrible idea. But I think it's also a bad idea to capitalize everything. Pretty much... Oh, I'm gonna draw a picture. I'm gonna draw a fucking... Oh, that's right, I was drawing a picture earlier. I'm gonna draw a picture in the picture I'm drawing. How fucking space age is that shit? So it's like, you got yourself a little fucking chart here, and you got, socialism, and you got capitalism. Now here's the fucking problem. There's a little middle in there. If you go too far in favor of socialism, well actually, hang on. No. Backstep a bit. The main conceptual, not practically, not literally, conceptually, the main difference between socialism and capitalism is that socialism takes power away from private companies and gives it to the state, whereas capitalism takes power away from the state and gives it to private companies. Or private citizens would be more accurate. So if you lean too heavily in favor of socialism, you're pretty much going to end up with a state that has unlimited power, and then you're just going to live in a fucking communist shithole. If you're lucky, actually. Because if you want to look at Venezuela, it gets a hell of a lot worse. Otherwise, if you lean too heavily in favor of capitalism, you're just going to end up with a bunch of fucking corporations that fucking can buy their way through anything. And no one can stop them. And then you're going to live in this fucking corporate oligarchy. Which is pretty much what America is very close to, if not already in it. And so you kind of got to keep this weird balance where you're kind of bouncing in between the two. Because there is no perfect balance in the middle. You're constantly bouncing back and forth. And other shit's going to come in the way. Like fucking, I don't know, some disaster here is going to tip you heavily in favor of that way. Some disaster's going over here going to tip you heavily in favor of that way. And so, pretty much what I'm getting at is, it doesn't matter what you pick, you're fucked. Sorry. Hope that's not too depressing, but, you know, pretty much you're hoping you're in that middle part where they're just bouncing back and forth. Here, I think, in a lot of places in the world...
Dipping in a bit before bed.
Well, glad you could sneak one in. Did you ever figure out what happened with, what was it? The Twitter gave you the DMCA thing. Because, dude, that literally blows my mind. I don't even know how that went off.
World is screwed.
Yeah, well, it is for a little while, and then it's going to fix itself. I think at the moment, looking at this chart, we've just gone smack bang into here and just rebounded violently, and I think we're in the middle of this violent rebound. And I think
if you look at Floyd Autospy report, it shows that he was a very unhealthy person. He was on fentanyl when he died and has sign of lifetime abuse of the substance, and he also had sickle cell anemia.
Well, that's great, but it doesn't matter. The guy was killed in cop custody. Like, this is the thing. It doesn't matter if he was a good or a bad person. The police are not an inquisition. They are the law enforcement. So they need to enforce the law. That's the real fucking problem. Well, for me, anyway. That's what I think the real problem is. But, hey, I don't fucking know. You know, I don't live in America. I don't know any of the people. I just...
If it was anyone else on the ground that day, they would have lived.
No, like, the previous... Hang on. Who was that said earlier?
Mito Fembit.
Yeah, Groove Child.
No idea, lol. Twitter just says you've been DMC'd and they say you gotta send all your info if you want it removed and a copy of the tweet. No idea who sent it.
Huh. I wonder if that's a fucking tack or some shit. They wanted your info. That's a very, very odd thing. Twitter should already have your info. Interesting. But yeah, like, if it was anyone else on the ground, they would have lived. No, because there's other people that also have substance abuses and fucking pre-existing diseases and blah, blah, blah. And actually, maybe we'll go look at the footage. We'll finish with Tucker Carlson and we'll look up the footage. Because you can see that the police stand on that guy's neck for like a full 8 minutes, okay? The human body can stay conscious for about 4 minutes without oxygen. After the 5-minute mark, it will start suffering from brain damage. And after the 6-minute mark, they are 100% fucking dead.
Cancer. That's strange. What kind of info?
Exactly, Cancer. Man, Cancer's a really cool guy. I've got to get Cancer sometime. Actually, Cancer is my star sign, which is great, hilarious fucking joke to pull on people when they're like, you say, I have cancer, and they're like, oh shit, and I'm just like, the star sign, and they're like, ha ha, and I'm just like, yeah, Cancer's a fucking joke, isn't it? And I just spit on them, and then I walk out of the room feeling superior.
Need more
White people had been killed recently in the exact same method as George Floyd, by police.
White staff
Exactly.
and white community members, whom the principal
See, it doesn't matter who they kill. The problem is they're fucking doing it.
Aggressions
It's
against
fucked
staff
up.
of color.
groom
The principal
shield.
did not specify
He
what
woke
those
up in the
crimes were.
ambulance
She
to the
didn't need
hospital.
to. Their skin color was their crime. This is
Did
a
he?
national theme. It pains us to tell you that, but it's true. It's incredibly destructive and dangerous.
Like, I mean, you're going
Fellow
up against
school
video
districts are
evidence,
now
man.
using the 16,
You're gonna need some
19
real solid
project from the New York
evidence.
Times, for example, as a
But I mean,
curriculum.
hey, I guess it'll all
That
come out when the
project is
court's
the
done,
work of
'cause I
an
know there's a lot of
out-of-the-closet
footage and shit
racial
that's being
extremist
withheld
called
for
Nicole
the whole
Hannah
fucking,
Jones.
court
Jones, for
investigation.
example, recently argued it is not violence to loot and burn stores. It's justified. Her propaganda is
But
now
it's still gross
mandatory
negligence,
in
man.
public schools in Buffalo, Chicago, Newark, Washington. Many parents, understandably, deeply resent this. It's deranged. It's racist. But others don't. They are allies, and they've joined in. One mother in London, where the cult is also spreading, posted this photo on Twitter. It's of her daughter on bended knee holding...
I haven't known too much about the London Black Lives Matter protests, but I hear they're very violent.
Mito Fembit.
a sign
The
declaring...
white PPL who was killed the same way likely didn't break into a house and point a loaded gun at her baby in her tummy.
her privilege.
Well, how
The
does that
Cultural
matter?
Revolution has come
They were
to the
both
West.
killed in police custody.
What will the effects of this be? This is just a
See,
moment.
this is
It
what
will
I don't
end.
get.
How will we feel about it looking back? Years from now, how will
The
that
problem,
little girl with the
it
sign
seems
remember
like the
her
problem
childhood?
for most people isn't
Her
that
mother took
someone
Tim
died.
Wise's advice.
It's that
She
the
no
wrong
longer has
person died.
innocence. Will she be grateful for that?
How about
It's hard to imagine she
we
will,
just
but
stop
more
killing
likely
people?
She will feel bitter
Can we just
and
try?
used
Can we
because
just
she has
try to
been.
stop fucking
And it's
killing
likely
people
that
for a
many
little
children
while?
growing up right now will feel the
Just,
same way.
just until the fucking
Is there a
pandemic
single
stops,
person
can we
who
stop
believes
killing
that
each
this
other?
Mito
moment
Fembit.
we're living through
True,
will
but
end
George
in
was
racial
trash.
harmony? That used to be what we wanted. Some of us still do
Doesn't
want
matter.
that. Is it even
It
a
doesn't
goal anymore?
matter.
It doesn't seem like it.
Because
Instead,
and
it seems
I'm
like
just gonna
many
say,
empowered...
be very careful when you say shit like that. That someone deserved to die because they were a bad person. Because one day, it might be you staring down the barrel of a gun, and then someone else is gonna say, well, you're gonna end up getting killed. People are gonna say they, the person, deserved to die because they were a
Mito
bad fucking
Fembit.
person.
I am
fucking dumb.
Filipino. It's not possible to end our calls for blood.
Yeah,
It's
fair
very
enough.
clear, in fact, that many in power are
That's
pushing
fair.
hard for racial division, for hatred, for violence. And let's pray they don't get
Mito
what they
Fembit.
want. Tribal
LOL.
conflict will destroy
Mito
a country
Fembit.
faster than any
Dudert.
plague. Keep in mind, as this insanity continues, that it doesn't happen in a vacuum. Every action provokes a reaction. That's physics. We don't know where this is going. We don't want to know where it's going. The cult members should stop now, immediately, before more innocents get hurt, and they will if they don't.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, is that
Cancer.
people...
The TDS won't even say cunt. And you call yourself Australian. Have I? Hang on. That blew my mind. The TTS won't say... Oh yeah. That's the TTS, not me, okay? The TTS is not Australian. We had to import her from China. You know how we Aussies are, we love cheap Chinese crap. Fuck, there's a whole fucking place in Singapore that's just like this whole fucking district of cheap Chinese crap, man. It's the fucking best. I love cheap Chinese crap. Because it's cheap. Not because it's crap. Because it's cheap. Now, am I allowed to show this footage? How about we do this? Games love. Police violence against blacks in the US is so common that the media is forced to run the same story over and over for months at a time in order to convince people it's a serious issue.
Yeah, fair point, but I still think, like, it's one part of a greater problem, which is the whole police force is fucked. And yeah, obviously, like I say, I'm gonna keep saying throughout this whole fucking
Games
stream, I
love.
don't live in America, I don't know
Meanwhile,
how the race
in Detroit
relationship is.
alone, there's about 10 murders per day.
Damn, son, that's fucked up. Maybe not in relation to the total fucking population count. I don't know. But here's what the big thing is. Yeah, I don't know. I live in Australia. I don't know what it's like on the ground in your country. So excuse my ignorance. I'm a bit of a dumb cunt, in case you haven't figured it out. but I think we'll go with this. Trigger warnings for everybody, because I got the video from YouTube, so surely I can watch the video on YouTube. I don't know.
Cancer.
I don't know if I need
Chili
some sort
bite
of
shilling for China because Fembit's in chat.
She's not Chinese, she's Filipino. And if I'm not gonna shill for the Filipinos, they're fucking poor as fuck, man. That's why they all gamble. No offense, but it's true. But yeah, pretty much what I'm originally getting at. We're gonna watch somebody get killed. So, if you don't want to watch that,
Cancer.
probably might want to jump the stream.
Same
at this
difference.
point. So yeah. There we go. Look, I got it all ready enough because I knew this shit would come up. I mean, fuck. Look at the title of the stream.
Fembit.
I baited this shit.
Yet I hate Chinese smiling face with open mouth and tightly closed eyes.
Oh, that's another thing. China and Hong Kong going at it again. Hong Kong's kind of in the shit pits now because of America. Because China's just like, well, it's okay if we use violent force on the Hong Kong, because America used violent force on America. And I mean, hey, good enough for Chinese propaganda. Is this video gonna open up or what? There we go. Okay, so once again, gonna go to the last fucking trigger warning. I don't know if we should be playing like a siren sound effect or something on the background. Let's go. Air raid siren. Yeah. This is very professional. We'll go for a World War II one. Okay, everybody. Trigger warning. Hang on. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. Edgy content ahead. Warning. Warning. Edgy content ahead. Alright, now if you die, it's not my fault. Well, I mean, if the stream gets banned, then it's my fault. If my whole channel doesn't get banned, that'd be my fault. No, maybe I can blame it on someone else. Perhaps the whole demographic of people with hooked noses. Alright. So, let's go skip to the part. We'll just fucking skip through this. Okay. Places, things of note. I don't know, Sudanese woman there. Salam alaikum. So pull the cunts out. There's two other people he's in the car with, some dude and some chick. So the cop's interviewing them there. He's interviewing this guy there. Obviously no audio. Nothing's going on. In case you're wondering why there's so many black bars and shit.
Chili Nuhu.
Now. Oh yeah, so this is the part where they take him across the road. This camera, I don't know why it's there going on at the moment. I think he'd be going through, the fucking running him through the police database and shit like that. So they're taking him over to the car now. Some shit there. This guy's funny thing where he trips on the pavement. I thought that was pretty funny. Now, there's no video on what happens over at the car at this time. Yeah, like you got this, but it's all heavily redacted because this is an ongoing investigation, so a lot of people that can be identified, like civilians, have to be redacted. And there's no footage of what's happening in the car and shit like that.
I don't want you guys grabbing anything from the car, okay? Leave the car alone.
I'm pretty sure that footage would all be going through court and in an ongoing investigation, so they can't release it to the public. Could be wrong, you know, I don't know actual police procedure, but that'd be my guess.
Good.
So he's just more police busy work and blah 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 blah. This guy's just interviewing them and blah 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 blah. And then it comes to this footage over here. So at the 11-minute mark, they don't have the clip from exactly what happens in the trunk of the car and how, because you last see him getting put into the car, and then the next time you see him, he's back out of the car and on the ground. So I've heard that the guy was claustrophobic or something, and that he was panicking when they were trying to put him inside the car. I don't know. Some say he was just resisting arrest and the police had no choice and blah blah blah. But you have to remember the guy's already been handcuffed at this point. He's been handcuffed behind his back since they pretty much first pulled him over. And he's also been disarmed. I don't show it. I mean, like, we can go back and see it if you want, but there's a part where 2 cops are searching him, and so they make sure he has no fucking weapon on him. So he's unarmed, and he's got his hands behind his back. So you can hear him not having the best of times at the moment. Probably wishing he was at home playing RuneScape. I would. You can see that there's a cop there, a second cop there, and there's a third cop in the background. You can't see him in this clip, and then there's the fucking Ching Chong cop over there. And I'm allowed to say that because I'm Asian too. Now, old matey has his knee on Mr. Floyd's neck, which, if on that angle, if you apply enough pressure, it will cut circulation. And we are, when the footage first starts of him on the ground, we're at what, 11 minutes. And so now we're heading to the 12-minute mark.
Relax. Man, I can't breathe my face. Just get up. Oh. I can't breathe.
Now, here's the big problem, is that the guy can't resist anyway, because there's 2 other people on his back. And so, there's no real need for him to have his knee on with such force that it would be choking him. Because what's the worst he can really do? He can't get up.
My stomach hurts. My neck hurts. Everything hurts. There's water or something.
Now,
Please.
moving further on. So what did we say before? Hey, to the internet. How long can the average person hold their breath for? Look, the internet already knows what's up. So, this one says 30 seconds, up to 2 minutes. Guinness World Record, 24 minutes. I don't think Mr. Floyd is exactly a world record jumper? Is that the right word? So, you got this one. At 2 minutes 30, your stomach starts to rapidly convulse and contract. Your diaphragm is forcing you to take a breath. And I do believe we are at about between the 2nd and 3rd minute, when Mr. Floyd starts complaining about how much his stomach hurts. Then we will be moving into the 3 to 5 minute mark.
Cancer. Being extra careful with a drugged out Giganigea, I guess.
A little more than extra careful. So... was it? Yeah. So moving along.
How long y'all gotta hold him down?
And here's the other thing, is that surely at this point in time,
Y'all don't gotta put on.
yeah, surely at this point in time, you would understand that there would be some level of danger of constantly having so much force on a person's neck. Because I don't know about you, but, you know, I've done some martial arts shit, and, you know, when you get people in chokeholds and shit like that, you kind of got to time yourself for how long you choke the person. Because I mean, usually, obviously in competition and shit like that, when you get someone in a chokehold and they refuse to tap, you choke them for like maybe a minute or 2, and then you let them go, because otherwise you're gonna fucking kill the cunt. If you keep doing it like in rapidity, you're gonna knock the guy out, because not enough oxygen is gonna be flowing to the brain, and the brain's gonna be like, okay, this is dumb, shut everything down, let me figure out what's going on. But you have to give the brain, if not the body, you need to give the brain that time to breathe, because if the brain runs out of oxygen, it's gonna fucking die. And that's what's really going to kill you. Your brain's going to suffocate and die. I think this guy is really in a lot of the deep shit, because the two officers behind them have at least, obviously I don't know what their defense is going to be in court, but they have at least some leeway because they aren't doing a potentially lethal activity.
Internet hard case. Arrogant cops are everyone's problem. It's not a racial issue.
Yeah.
It's a policing issue.
Yeah, and it's here's the thing, it's not just that, you know, I think this guy has a record for being a bit of a fucking cockhead as well as a cop. But it's also just a big problem in the fucking American police force, where you cunts are given just such colossal firepower and pretty heavy amounts of fucking... And you got to do a real fucking serious job being a cop in America, man. No doubt about that. And they just have fuck all training, man. They have fuck all training. And there's also the whole fucking paranoia between the cops and the citizens. So the cops don't trust the citizens, and the citizens don't trust the cops. So they're both suspecting the other of fucking that they're going to murder them. And when the people who protect you and the people who pay you can't get along, of course shit's going to hit the fucking fan. And this whole incident is that I think the George Floyd death, it's a straw that broke the camel's back. And another big problem is when it happened.
That IDF training is working great. Nito Fembit. In stress training kind of goes out the window.
Not really. Like, when you practice things long and hard enough, they sort of become instinctive. That's why when people do martial arts, they do all this training. Because if none of the training actually mattered in the heat of the moment, then what's the fucking point of training? You're literally just wasting time. But of course, the reason they do training is because it does work. These techniques do work.
Scunned.
They don't work
Are we
all the
shitting
time,
on
sure.
joggers? Games love.
I don't have that
Yeah,
clip, no.
the problem is that the media doesn't care. Poor police training isn't as controversial as racial violence.
Yeah, well,
This police officer's motives haven't even been determined yet, but look at the media.
yeah,
Games
yeah.
love.
The,
Narrative regardless.
Cause the media just loves this shit, man, because it just gets a chance for the media to have their wars between each other. Fox News gets to fucking shit all over CNN, and CNN gets to shit all over Fox News, and it just creates all this chaos in the fucking meantime. What is it? There's a quote about war. I can't remember who it is, where it's like, war is when people who don't know each other... No. War is a massacre between people who don't know each other, coordinated by people who know each other that don't want to be massacred. And this is kind of a microcosm of that. The whole media war that goes on, with both of them just pushing just pushing their own crap. Because at the end of the day, they don't really care how many people get hurt. They don't care how many people they fuck over. They get paid either way. Like, this shit's like a media wet dream. You got all these riots and shit going on, so much shit to film, you get to bitch about all these sorts of things, you make all these attacks about the left and right and blah blah blah. They love this shit. They don't give a fuck like how many people get hurt. So how are we up to? We're at the... We started at 11 minutes, so at the 3-minute mark.
Bro, but you could get him off the ground. You've been up
so let's see.
right now, bro. You know it's
this
bogus.
is
You can't
pushing
even look at me
to
like a man
the...
because you a bum, bro. He's not even resisting arrest right now,
So
bro.
you can see old matey starting to slow down in his activity.
Right now, bro. You think that's cool?
So we're at the 4-minute mark now. So he would be getting very close to total unconsciousness now.
Docs Scund.
Now,
Reminder that a BLM dude got shoved off Twitter for asking why BLM is run by a Jew.
I don't even care if that's true or not. I want that to be true in my head. Oh, buddy. Oh, but I hope that's true. That's funny as fuck.
You just sitting there stopping his breathing right
Look
now.
at
They
him.
do
Oh, fuck, he stopped moving now.
bro.
So we're at the 4-minute 30 mark. So we should be somewhere in there. Appreciate that the oxygen. Blah blah blah. Usually the amount of oxygenated blood traveling to the brain.
Cancer. Whoa, that laugh.
Sorry, mate. But that one caught me off guard. So yeah, Mr. Floyd has lost consciousness at this point. He's still alive.
What the?
Now, I don't know why this guy pulled out a fucking weapon. That is such a stupid fucking move. Because this is, like... That's so dangerous because pulling weapons on people is going to escalate violence. Because, and it's not his fucking job, that's why this Asian cunt is standing there. This cunt is there to watch over the crowd to make sure they don't try anything. They don't try and pull a gun, they don't try and fucking do, I don't know, detonate a bomb, I don't fucking know. And neither do they. So this cunt's there to watch over them. So it makes no sense for this guy to try and pull a weapon, because if the crowd was acting hostile, this guy would pull the fucking
Mito
weapon.
Fembit.
He got me.
You're a war buff. How like close is the US right now similarly to pre-fall Rome before the Second Civil War?
I still think a pretty decent way away, because it has a lot of the symptoms of what led to the collapse of at least the Western Roman Empire. And the main thing is the systemic structure. And the main thing is that America is a democracy. And because it's a democracy, or a democracy, a lot of its power is decentralized from the presidency.
Docs Skund. All this shit has taught me are that cops are psychotic assholes and joggers are retarded apes.
Well, I think the cops, not all cops are assholes and not all joggers are apes. That's what I'll say on that. Like, it is the other thing, is that, you know...
Cancer.
As fucked as the police are...
Best take.
Especially in America, I think a lot of people that have dealt with the cops will say that, you know, they haven't had any serious problem with the cops, they've been pretty level-headed, and they're just trying to do a job and protect people. And... yeah, but, yeah, I don't know exactly, but there does seem to be this recklessness and disregard for, or respect for the job, really. Respect for their job as the protectors of citizens and their property. And I think a lot of people just get drunk on power for whatever reason. Maybe they've always wanted to just be an asshole, and that's why they became a cop, or maybe just being a cop has turned them into an asshole. Because, you know, you're gonna deal with some really shitty shit, especially in America, man. And so, I really think that a big problem in all of this is the quality of the police and their training. And I don't think that a lot of people really know... How do I say this? I think a lot of the police... I think most of the police do a decent job, but there is a large
Mito
segment of
Fembit.
the police force that isn't up to
I
scratch.
kind of want a city to disband the police in Minneapolis just to see what happens.
Oh, all hell would break loose. That's what would happen. All fucking hell would break loose. Because, I mean, look at all the cunts that go out looting during the
Doc
riots now.
Skund. Dude, same.
Because, yeah, all the riots that are going on now, not the riots, the looting. The reason why there's so much looting going on is because the cops are too busy dealing with the protesters and the riots. So there's no one to stop the looting. So of course they're gonna go out and fucking loot. Especially in this fucking climate where, you know, tons of people are losing their jobs and shit like that. People are just want to steal shit so they can get money. Otherwise, there's also a ton of cunts that are just bored. They lost their job, they have nothing to do, they've been sitting at home all fucking month and whatever. So they just want to go out and break shit while they can. So where are we up to now? We're heading on the 5-minute mark. So this cunt would be slowly suffering brain damage. This is a poor guy, man. It's like, dude, he's not responding. Fuck, man.
No, bro, look at him. He's not responding right now, bro. Bro, are you serious?
Because, yeah, this is why I'm saying it's gross negligence on part of the cops at best. Because they should be checking up on this guy to make sure he is in fact still alive. After all, isn't the whole point that he goes to prison and one day gets rehabilitated to become a fucking civilized person and re-engage with society? I mean, well, it's almost as if the police, you know, the whole judicial system is not designed to reimburse criminals. It's almost as if they're trying to earn some sort of profit.
Let me see a pulse. Is he breathing right now?
So yeah, this cunt would be going through brain damage at this point.
Check his pulse, Kyle.
What's it say here? Body will start to shake. This is
bro.
when holding your breath can
Bro,
become
check his
dangerous.
pulse, bro. You bogus, bro. You bogus.
I think it's going to be a hell of a lot more dangerous when you have three very heavy police officers on top of you.
You call what he doing okay. You call what you do. You call what he doing okay.
Now, this goes up to 6 minutes.
Go back in the store, bro. Go back.
They still got their knees on the car.
He's not moving.
That cunt hasn't been moving the whole while.
I'm trying to help y'all out, bro. You don't need to help me out, bro.
I don't know what this cunt on the left is.
Cancer.
Fuck off, white boy.
Yet I don't blame the looters since the economy's completely gone to shit.
I blame the looters. I understand why they're looting. But let's be honest, looting is a really fucking shitty thing to do. A real shitty thing to do. Like, maybe if you go looting like an Apple store or some shit, I might be willing to let that slide because Apple is ludicrously wealthy. But, you know, a lot of the times it's just regular fucking businesses to get hit because they're the closest ones available. And they're the least, they can't afford proper security and shit like that.
He doesn't have it, bro. He's not.
Cancer.
These cunts just arguing with the cops.
Kings rise up. Games love. Soon as he voids his bowels, he's dead. This video is really disturbing.
Yeah, sorry
regardless of the motives, that police officer deserves to be strung up for this.
Well, if you string him up, he's not going to learn anything. I mean, I don't think Mr. Floyd is going to be learning about the importance of not pointing a pistol at a pregnant wife anymore. You know? I think he won't be learning anything from now on. I think he's dead. Especially after 6 minutes and 45 seconds without oxygen. And then there's the crazy fireman chick. I don't know what's going on there.
Keep his hand on his neck, bro?
See, they still have his fucking knee on the dude's neck.
You gonna let him kill that man in front of you, bro? Huh? Like what? Bro, he's not even moving right now, bro.
Internet hard case. At least Antifa are declared terrorists now. That's one good thing that came out of this.
I don't mean to rain on your parade, but the president can't actually do that. He can't just point at an organization and declare that a terrorist organization. It has to have a unanimous agreement over a bunch of fucking courts. Well, not courts, but a bunch of different organizations. I think you need the support of like the military and the fucking Bureau of Investigation or some shit like that. But I will say this. I was surprised Antifa still exists. I thought they got laughed off stage like 4 years ago. Because I think all I know of Antifa is they started off in Germany and...
Do you guys think life in prison sentences are retarded? Like, why not just kill them and get it over with? Oh hey, you're going to pay taxes to keep me fed and contained for 40 YRS sure showed me, dude.
Well, the whole point of going to prison is you're supposed to rehabilitate them while they're in prison. If you just arrest someone and lock them in a fucking box for like 20 years, and then open up the box, of course they're not gonna fucking learn anything, and
Internet
of course
hard
it's a waste of
case.
money.
I thought executive order was enough. Damn.
Nah, not in this circumstance. Like, I don't know the exact presidential laws, but I know they can't do that. And an executive order is only direct authority beneath the president. So, and even then, executive orders have a time limit on them. So, they're only authorized for like a certain period of time. It's some shit like that. But this is the whole thing of why, when Fembot asked earlier how close America was to the collapse of Rome, and this is why I'm saying you're pretty far off, because the structure of a democratic republic is very decentralized with its power. You can't just have a president just take total control and everyone be okay with it. Because, I mean, there's a big shitstorm in the military now, the American military, because they're really, really paranoid that they're being used as a political tool for the president. And regardless of whether or not that's true, they're paranoid about it. And that's another big thing you need to understand about politics,
Cancer.
is that it's not...
Yet I don't think we pretend anymore US prison is for rehabilitation.
Yeah, it's to make money. And yeah, like I said earlier, they don't want to rehabilitate prisoners. In fact, they want to make prisoners worse, so they commit more crimes, so they can end up in prison more often, so they can get more money. Because, yeah, like in Australia, there's all these fucking programs and shit like that to try and rehabilitate prisoners as best they can. Because that is the ultimate goal of the prison. They want the people inside prison to return to society and get a fucking job. So they can, through their own taxes, pay off the taxpayer money that they paid on them.
Dipping for sleep. Glad you're in a better mood than yesterday.
Yeah,
Good stream as always. Smiley face.
Thank you very much, Fembot. Have a good one. Have a nice night.
Meedo
or who knows,
Fembot.
maybe you're sleeping in the middle of the day.
Thumbs up sign.
But yeah, have a good one. Fucking Games Workshop, man. Fucking retards. I don't get why companies politicize themselves. Especially
Cancer.
The way Games Workshop did it. It's so
Later,
fucking hollow, man.
Fembot.
So here's another thing that I find really fucking odd. Is when they bring the fucking... Why the hospital came here. Because surely... Like... I find the whole arrival of the ambulance to be very confusing. Because obviously the ambulance shouldn't get involved unless someone's been significantly injured. And the only person who would be at risk of getting significantly injured is George Floyd. And I don't know, I just find it very confusing. Maybe it'll make more sense as more evidence comes out. And more reports and evidence comes out to the public.
Meedo Fembot.
But...
Night chat.
I just find that
His hand
odd.
on his neck, bro. You're a bitch, bro. Tao, you go
This motherfucker talking shit, man. What a legend.
Doc Scund. Do you guys think the black square shit is brands trying to appease joggers so they don't get looted?
Hang on a minute. Let me read that. Do you think the black square shit is brands trying to appease joggers so they don't get looted? Black square. Oh, here we go. What's this? Beyond the black screen, Instagram. What's this shit? For last week, ever since the killing of blah blah blah, Gavin's welcome, blah 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 blah. I think in many other fashion. Wave of black designers. What the fuck is this shit? Okay, some symbolic thing. Oh, who knows, man? Who the fuck knows? Like, you know, I wouldn't really put it past them.
Cancer. Wasn't Instagram deleting black square posts?
Wasn't Instagram deleting black square posts? I don't know, man.
Doc Scund. Chilly look at Ben and Jerry's Twitter prime example.
Ugh, gross. Twitter. Ugh. Disgusting. Look at this shithole. Look at this scum. I wish I cancelled 40k. I would be so fucking happy. This fucking old lady, man. Just let the old lady walk past. She's not a threat to anyone. And see, this is another fucking dumb thing about all these fucking riots and police brutality and all this dumb
LMAO
shit.
based. Fuck Twitter.
Yeah, and ugh, Ben & Jerry's Australia. Where do we go? Big American Ben & Jerry's. Can't join a protest to president. Tell the things you can do right now to help end white supremacy and systemic racism. Nice! I hope it involves buying shit. 12 ways you can help eradicate white supremacy.
Old lady was a slave owner. That's scund. The old lady is white, obviously she's going to oppress them with her cane.
Yeah, buddy. She's gonna use her supremacist powers on them. Invoke she's gonna summon the corpse of Hitler, mate. Gonna bring back, what's his name? Jim Crow. She's gonna take action and become a member of a supporter or a partner of Color of Change. Text demands. What the fuck is this? Color of Change. Let me show you something you knew about real injustice. End injustice now. Join us, Denane. Where's the fuck off button? There it is. I can't breathe. Take the goddamn tape off. Alright, okay, so that's pretty stock standard. Listen to 1619, New York Times podcast hosted by... Okay, glad to see they're shilling for other people. 1619. How slavery is transformed America, connecting past, present, and oldest form of storytelling. Well, I don't live in your country, so I don't really give a shit. Vote. Financially support these groups that are on the front lines. Award-winning filmmaker. Encourage this. And 13, encourage white people to talk to other white people about racism. What people to white people? Who you think you are? Call out racism. Fucking hell, man. See, this shit genuinely pisses me off. If you want to take a stance on these political issues, you should do
Basically,
it as
the black box shit is companies all saying Black Lives Matter, we love Black PPL, blah blah blah, so revolutionary, dude.
Yeah, and if, like, here's the thing. Let me explain it like this. If Elon Musk went on his Twitter and came out and saying, I'm in support of Black Lives Matter or these reforms and revolution and blah blah blah, whatever the fuck you want to say, I don't really care too much because that's him speaking for himself. But if it was Tesla coming out and saying, Tesla supports this, Tesla wants you to do that, Tesla blah 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 blah, that shit, I think it's really fucked up, because companies shouldn't be arbiters of what's right and wrong in society. You know, that shit should be up to the government. That's what the whole government is there for, to ensure fucking civility and order and blah blah blah. And the problem with when companies say this, it's also quite faceless as well, because who is Ben and Jerry? You know, it's a whole fucking company, it's a whole fucking organization, and so if they fuck up, if it turns out that what they've said caused more damage.
Whoa, dude, cool it with the white supremacy. WTF is the matter with you? LOL.
Oh, well.
Cancer.
You know me.
Poor brands have to pretend to care about both black and LGBT people in the same month.
Yep, pretending the carers want to... We don't understand the plight of these, you know, multi-billion-dollar corporations. How hard it is to pretend to give a shit about other people, you know? But yeah, and when you get political, man, it's just a shit show. It's just a shit show. And these people pretty much never get held accountable. Because if one person says something and they fuck up, you can hold that one person accountable. But when it's a whole fucking organization, very rarely the whole organization gets held accountable. The organization picks a fucking sacrifice, and then they sacrifice them, and then the rest of them get off scot-free. And it's never just one person, it's usually a coordinated effort. And yeah, I don't agree with companies.
Frelling have you seen that Bethesda Twitter logo screen cap?
Oh boy. Oh boy. Hopefully it's on Twitter. Bethesda. Oh
Ducks Scund.
boy.
Best black box post was Popeyes saying Popeyes is nothing without black lives. They deleted it in less than